Hello everyone, Malphite here, and I don't have enough time to report on these because I have a full-time job now. So today we are going to take a look at all the recent LEC changes. I made a similar video like this one for the LCS previously and thought it would be too much of a shame to not do it for the LEC, and we're starting with a massive news, and that is that KC finally revealed who will be the new team's mid laner, and it's Keduii. I hope I'm probably mispronouncing it, but let's say Keduii, or yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna leave it there. Keduii is the new KC mid laner. And if we read the article from Sheep Esports, we can see that they have been also trying to sign Quid, but he committed to Team Liquid. They've been trying to sign Saint. He stayed in Leon, or Leon wanted to keep him. They tried to sign Loki, but Loki prioritized a return to Korea. And they even were interested in Bulldog and Zinni. So this video, and I'm going to probably repeat myself multiple times, I just want to say, I had multiple comments under my predictions and / rumors, and people are saying I'm way off when 1, 2, 3, and 4 out of 5 mid laners they were interested in, I predicted, and I said, this is probably who they're looking for, right? Did I guess they're going to be looking for Keduii? No, I did not. I'm gonna be honest there. The mid lane choice is a little bit underwhelming, but I do not think it is actually underwhelming. So let me just explain myself. What I mean by that is we were all expecting someone crazy, right? We were all expecting it to be Zinni, the most hyped mid laner from the LCK Academy. We were all expecting it to be Closer, right? A very good mid laner from the LCK. We were expecting it to perhaps be Showmaker by some crazy rumors, although we know that Showmaker wants to stay in Damwon and be the star player, right? But there were some rumors about perhaps getting Zeka, right? Especially after the HLE now, a lot of people are, the HLE performance at Worlds, a lot of people are calling for his head. They want to see him being replaced by BDD, or some players from HLE coming to KT. But no, it's not Zeka, it's not Showmaker, not Zinni, not Closer, and neither player from the LCS. But I assume that when LEC Wulu reported on a C9 player coming to the LEC, he meant Loki. Regardless, I don't think. So compared to this, the signing is a bit disappointing, but I don't think it's that disappointing because I still think, so for those of you who do not know who Keduii is, it should be even here somewhere. So he was recently ranked 1 on the Korean solo queue. Okay, that's pretty good. And he is playing for the DRX in the LCK. So DRX was like second to last, so that's why you may have not even heard about Keduii before. But he has been playing on the DRX in the LCK. And I want you to think about it like this. Poby joined Fnatic, right? It was a meme signing. He is the sometimes killable Demon Prince. Some roads lead to him, whatever memes and so on, right? But he's still very solid. He's probably the best player in the LEC after Caps, Jojo, and Vladi, right? You could probably put him 4th. You could put him above Jackies. You could put him above Nuke, above Chayek, right? So he's probably somewhere there. And Poby would probably not get signed to the LCK, if we're being honest. So probably not even the DRX would pick him up. And then if you factor in that he got the number 1 rank recently, which obviously does not mean that much. Many players get rank 1, many players are grinders, some are not grinding as much and so on. But I do believe that Keduii is going to be stronger, or is a stronger power level than Poby. And I also do believe that KC, if you look at the KC's roster, there is already a massive upgrade with Busio replacing Targamas, with Targamas, I think, being, or it's not only what I think or I believe, it's, I think, very, very obvious that Targamas was the weakest player in the lineup. A little bit of a fraud right there for a couple of years now. And he is going to get replaced by Busio, probably the best NA player overall. If we don't count the imports like Inspired or Quid, right? So now the LEC got a massive support in form of Busio. And we're getting Keduii. So is Keduii better than Vladi? Tough to say. But, is he a massive upgrade or downgrade? Again, we don't know, but probably not. Probably the level is quite similar there. So I would say similar to Vladi, but at least you're getting a player of a similar level. At least, right? At least. Could be a lot better. We don't know. And the roster is looking really, really good. So yeah, it feels a bit disappointing, but keep in mind that it doesn't have to be that disappointing. So let me actually see, because there was one more news that I wanted to report on actually, and I don't think I have it here. And that is something, and it's about Yopa. Yeah, I don't think I have it here. So we are going to be talking about Yopa next. And so the crazy new AD carry of SK Gaming that was rumored to be a Korean player, that was rumored to be Sven from Cloud9. Turns out it's just Yopa. And again, it feels disappointing, right? It feels disappointing because of our expectations. We at least wanted to see Sven, or we at least wanted to see some hype AD carry. But in the end, it's Yopa. So if you don't know, Yopa was playing in Team Vitality Academy, and he was actually pretty good. He was one of the best AD carries in the academy. You could pretty much assume he's a similar level to the former Exakick or Exa. And if you look at these other players they were trying to get, so they were trying to get exactly the player I mentioned just now, Exakick or Exa, or Whispers, or even the Patrick. So the Patrick Rumours that I also, by the way, reported on, I also talked about this, that Patrick might return, but in the end, they decided after holding tryouts, they decided to go with Yopa. So, I mean, they just picked him into the lineup and decided that that's how they feel. We could have had a bit of a Exakick return to SK Gaming. I feel like the last time Exakick was on SK Gaming, that was probably the best iteration of SK Gaming we had in a while. But no, it's going to be Yopa. Now, I know what you're all thinking. It's a McDonald's roster. It's like 07, it's gone. But, I would personally, I would take Yopa over Keduii, and I would take Yopa over Flacket. Sorry, Flacket. It's just, I want to see. You would always pick like a rookie where you don't know where their ceiling is. Someone like Nagnako, who's doing really, really well right now. Right? We had Carlsen, we had Lot, and we had Nagnako, 3 new rookie top laners coming into the LEC league last season. Well, while Lot and Carlsen didn't really look too hot, Nagnako is looking like the next top lane talent, the next heavy hitter in the league, right? So it's always good to try and see what sticks, see what lands. Same with Chayek, right? Like Chayek, pretty solid. And so yeah, he was playing with Nagnako and Chayek on the Vitality Academy roster, and now he will be completing this roster. So what do I think about the roster overall? Is this roster going to win the LEC? No. But are they going to be the worst team? I also don't think so, actually. I was going to be a bit playful and say yeah, maybe, but no, I don't think they're going to be the worst team. They have Wunder and Mickey. They have a lot of older players. Also, they have leaders, skins, like players that have been around. So the average age of the team is going to be quite old. So yeah, it is a bit of a G3, G4, G5, whatever, reused G2, old G2 lineup. It's a team full of unks, full of uncles and boomers, right? But if they like playing with each other, that's also an important thing, right? You see a lot of drama in teams when players don't like playing with each other and so on. There's also 3 splits, so we might see some changes, if things don't go right and so on. You already have two good players on the team. So if someone needs, if you need to replace someone, or if like a player becomes free on the market or whatever, but I just want to see the boys have fun. And I'm definitely going to be rooting for SK Gaming because I'm a big fan of Mickey, I'm a big fan of Wunder, and I just want to see what Leader cooks up. Skeens, I'm a bit, For Skeens, I cannot even make an argument. For Leader, it's at least like 50-50. Either he's going to be like smurfing or just running it down. And for Yopa, he's a rookie, finally getting a chance at 22. So just want to see what he does. But moving on to more crazy news, and we have, why is there already the transfers? Okay, never mind. We'll just run through these. So we have Keduii set to join Eintracht Spandau. So this is the team in Prime League. And obviously this makes sense because Yopa has replaced him. But these news, when they came out, we still didn't know who the SK Gaming AD carry is going to be. But we knew it's not going to be Keduii. So nothing surprising here. Eintracht Spandau building a pretty solid team. I think they have Power of Evil, who's been playing for Century now, and Genax, who also has been playing for Century now. So they're also building their own version of the Boomer team. And next up, this one, I'm actually very, very excited. And I've been reporting on Trymbi being back to LEC. I was talking about some potential teams that could get him. I was even saying that maybe KC could pick him up. I was even saying which team was I saying? Fnatic could pick him up and so on, right? People in the comments, obviously not everyone, people in the comments were calling me crazy. They were saying Trymbi is washed and so on. They were talking about the last game at Worlds where he ran it down, which he did. But overall, I don't really like judging players based on like one bad game. Usually people see someone's last performance and are calling the player bad. For example, a lot of players are saying Zeka is bad now. When the roster at points was cooking, right? Like they were really, really crazy. And I don't like to say this like if and whatever, but if the Worlds had a double bracket, right? Also loser's bracket or whatever, the result could have been completely different, right? So it's not always good to look at the last performance. But Trymbi is back in the LEC because I'm yapping already for quite a bit now. He will be replacing Parus. Now, Parus came to the league as this really hyped rookie that even G2 wanted, and now he's not looking too hot. But remember, sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes certain players on certain teams don't look good, and then they change teams and suddenly it clicks, right? So I really hope, also for the strength of the league overall, that Parus is going to do great on NAVI, because he joined NAVI. So we can already see that NAVI expressed interest as well, but he was not their top priority. So they ultimately moved forward with Parus. So Parus was ranked higher on the priority list. Another strong candidate for Team BDS was Targamas. So even before we knew Targamas is leaving, even before we knew Busio is coming in, I also reported on this. You can watch the videos about my predictions when nothing was decided yet, and I was talking about maybe Targamas going to BDS. However, BDS in the end decided to go with Trymbi. And we can see this is their reported roster. So already here's Bukata. I didn't know this, but I guess he has a contract. Okay, so it's likely. Okay, so these are likely. Yeah, this is also something that I talked about. I put many players as likely, and I didn't even know their contracts. I just put them as likely because some of these players are like star players of the roster. And I put Nuke as a star player of BDS because obviously so far they've been building around Nuke. And what I have to say here, Rooster, love it. He's great. Trymbi, love it. I feel like you have to change something. and going over Parus, picking Trymbi over Parus is really, really good. I keep saying like Paris or something. I mean Parus. And then you have Bukata and Nuke, likely. Fair enough. I'm not a huge fan of Bukata in the jungle, but Nuke is solid. There's not that many other options, and it's your star player in the team. I would really love to see Ice stay. But if it doesn't happen, there's still Exa Kick, I guess, or Exa formerly. But I really like Ice. I don't want him to leave. He's a very, very good AD carry. And so it would be a shame if he were to leave. It's kind of interesting with the AD carry situation. We're also going to talk about it a bit later, but the AD carry situation on the market is not that many AD carries locked as, let's say, players for the other positions. I feel like there's the least amount of AD carry players reportedly locked. So we still don't have official. Karzi is still not officially locked, so there's something interesting, but we're going to also talk about that. Ice is not locked. Upset is not officially locked, which is crazy because I thought that's definitely something that's happening, and it's probably happening. I'm just saying that he's still not officially signed. And who do we have then? Flackhead, obviously, at Team Heretics. And then for a while now, we didn't have the SK Gaming AD carry and so on. So we're also going to take a look at that. But now, BDS roster shaping out quite nicely. I just don't want them to get a worse AD carry. I want them to keep Ice. Next up, we have a quick one. Loopy is set to join Vivo Keyd Star, so we just knew this. So obviously replaced by Mickey X in SK Gaming, and he will be replacing Trymbi, who is then replacing Parus, who is then replacing Malrang in NAVI, right? And I don't know who Malrang will be replacing, but we'll see. Next up, we have Parus is set to join NAVI. So yeah, we already talked about this, but maybe I should have went the other way around. Fnatic and Giant X were focused on securing Jun, so both Fnatic and Giant X, and it feels like it's Giant X that are going to keep him, but we'll also talk about that quite soon. So Navi also considered supports like Jun, Trymbi, and Career. So Jun very sought after. And so we have project made in LFL, and so this is the Navi roster. We don't yet know who's going to be in the mid lane. It's possible that it's going to be Poby if Fnatic secures Vladi, but we'll also talk about that in a second. So we have Mainter, Relek, Hansamdi, and Parus. So I kind of like this because it's quite a fresh roster, with Hansamdi also being quite a new addition to the LEC, although being quite a veteran himself. Most of these players are in a similar situation where they're not quite the youngest anymore, but they still have what it takes to be in the LEC. So I actually think this roster might surprise us and cook quite a bit. I wonder if it's going to be Navi or SK that's going to be the better roster. But who do we have next? We have Busio is set to join Karmine Corp in the LEC. And so I already reported on this one, but we'll quickly go over it. So we have Busio chose KC over FlyQuest, Shopify Rebellion, and Leon. That makes total sense. Replacing Targamas. They also, so KC explored also Parus and Trymbi. So there you go. Gotta look into the Trymbi, right? But in the end, the decision came down to Targamas and Busio, and then Busio is an obvious move. Like, you cannot go wrong here. And now we already know the mid laner. So I already reported it. It's the Kiahu. Next up is also Reapered. So Reapered has decided to join KC. Another W from KC because they have two Koreans on the team, and also Reapered is just a great coach. So import all the good talent from the NA while you can. Get them back for all those years of stealing from your league and build a great year, great upcoming year for the LEC. Next up, we have Serin is set to join Team Heretics in the LEC. So another news that's maybe not quite as interesting or exciting, but let's see. The Spanish organization considered mid laners such as Setup, Fisher. Personally, I think Setup Fisher would be strong, but would be a little underwhelming in the sense that we are not really getting. It would feel even like a tier below Poby, and those signings are just not that exciting. And Serin, although he was already playing in the ERLs for quite some time, there's still something exciting about him. So do I think Serin is going to be like this next star in the league? No. But is he probably better than Camelu? Yeah. Probably just at face value. So just the move itself in the mid lane is an upgrade for Team Heretics. But to be fair, any of their options were an upgrade. So yeah, they also considered Poby, Feisty, Vladi, and Chocolade. And then yeah, Serin initially declined Team Heretics' offer, and he was as he was also considering opportunities. However, on Wednesday, they erased their offer, which ultimately convinced the Turkish mid laner to accept. So he was also looking for something else, but then they gave him a better offer. Last year, Heretics were already considering Serin, so they were also choosing between Camelu, Vito, Machuki, and Serin, and then ended up going with Camelu, which is crazy given that you could have signed Vito, but again, I understand why teams don't. Yeah, Serin, stand. I mean, they kept a good player, signed a better one, right? Looks pretty good. And let's go look into the transfers. So keep in mind that it has been confirmed, and I don't know why I don't have it here. But I can just, actually, yeah, I have it in the tabs, but I can just Google, or whatever it's called, search for it, right? It's this one. Vladi chooses Fnatic, buyout yet to be agreed on with KC. And this is another one, and I have to say it again, in your face, haters, because I was talking about Fnatic potentially picking Vladi up. People are like, this is not happening. He's going to Team Vitality, he's going to X and Y, or I don't know what, he's going to NA. And I said, hey guys, you know, I think Fnatic can pick him up. The cool part is, we are most likely going to see Vladi with upset. So I feel like Vladi as an upset is happening. And I'll talk more about this in the transfers hub. So you can, if Fnatic can get a good buyout, can decide on buyout from KC, we can assume Vladi is here. If not, Poby is going to stay, right? But we can assume Vladi is here with upset. The problem is they lost Mickey. Now I'm all happy for Mickey. You see, the roster is completed. They did it. You know, they managed. Now they can have fun together, play, and whatnot. But you need a good support. You need a really good support, right? To pair with upset. They were interested in Jun. Jun, obviously, great pickup, right? We all know he's a great support. He was on a weaker team, so people really weren't talking about him that much. But those of you who remember, like this season, last season, Jun was it, right? Everyone wanted Jun. He was compared to Mickey, to Alvaro, right? And so Fnatic wanted Jun, but Giant X decided to keep Jun. And so while it's not yet confirmed here, it's quite unlikely that we're going to see Jun on Fnatic. Now, that's quite sad because Vladi upset Jun. Oh boy, sign me up. Like, that's an exciting roster, right? And with G2 being strong, with MCOY being strong, with KC upgrading, and Fnatic, well, I would consider Vladi an upgrade over Poby, and Jun could be considered like a slight downgrade, or people that call Mickey washed would maybe consider Jun a side grade, but I'm not gonna say an upgrade. There's no way that's an upgrade. There's no upgrade over Mickey. But that would already be an upgrade with the upgrade in the mid lane. And while Poby is great, I mean, I have nothing bad to say about Poby. Still one of the best mid laners in the league. And then they could cook something up on the top lane, right? They could, you know what I would love? I would love, if you get Vladi, you free up an import spot. Oh, actually, there were rumors to get an import top laner. Yeah, there were rumors to get an import top laner. So you could get some, you could cook something up like some strong import top laner. Imagine something like Rooster, right? The Rooster, Thanatos, something of the sort. And then you could get Shio, for example. Shio, I think, really proved his worth. Let me find him here on Team Heretics. Many teams are interested in him now because he showed that, okay, even being on a weaker team, I can be the MVP. I can be the carry. I'm actually good. I was good on BDS. BDS was doing well. They kicked me. They sent me to a different team. Now BDS is doing bad, right? Now the team I am on, even though the team is weaker, is doing great. So now I proved that it was me. I am the piece that makes a team, that makes a team or breaks a team. So if I'm Fnatic, I'm going to be looking for Shio. Not because Razork is bad, they can even trade. Maybe with Team Heretics, maybe with Team BDS, although they're most likely getting Mukata, right? You can even trade. You can trade with Giant Eggs or something, but get Shio on the roster. I think that's really going to be good. And then get an import, or maybe you could even cook up something, try to get someone like Adam, or maybe bring Irrelevant back. How about that? Import, Adam, Irrelevant back. All these options are pretty spicy, pretty exciting, and I just don't want to see Oscar again. Oscar's not bad, it's just a bit boring. Give Oscar to Team Heretics, for example. I'm sure they would be glad. Or maybe no one wants Oscar anymore. Who knows? We don't see behind the scenes. But that's my take on Fnatic. So hear me out. I like some teams more, I like some teams less, but usually all I care about is the power, right? Like I want the league to be as strong as possible. I want all the leagues to be as strong as possible because that's exciting, right? You want to see strong teams going up against strong teams because that is exciting. So we're talking Fnatic, we're talking G2, KC, MKOI. I want 4 strong teams, and then I want Team BDS to step it up, sign Ice, Kibukara if you have to, but I'm not too sure about that. Then SK Gaming, that's the dark horse, right? That's the dark horse. They can be last, but they also can maybe fight the top 4. I don't know, possibly if they I don't know if they go crazy. But let's keep our expectations somewhere in the middle, maybe a bit towards the bottom. Anyway, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting for sure. Team BDS to step it up. They were one of the teams that heavily underperformed for what was their firepower, for their potential and their possibilities last season. And then we have Team Vitality, and Team Vitality, oh my. Like, they have Karzi. I was hoping that they would get some strong mid laner. What I wanted to see was Humanoid Karzi, just because they're both Czech, they're friends. It would be really cool to see them play together. And then, like, Nagnako, and I was hoping that they would, because Linsas is a good player, but he doesn't look that strong on a team. I was hoping they would get Shio, actually, but now we'll see that most likely he's going to be going to Fnatic, hopefully. But Nagnako, Shio, Humanoid, Karzi, and then get someone like Parus, get someone like Trymbi, get someone like who else is there? Yeah, June perhaps, but no, that's not going to be happening. And the problem is that, yeah, what I forgot to mention with Fnatic, if they don't get June, they might have to settle for someone like Targamas, right? And that doesn't sound that hot. But who knows? Maybe they have an eye on some rookie that we don't know about. Maybe some crazy import. Who knows how it's going to turn out? But so far, this is what I think. Also, Los Ratones. Crazy that we're going to see this. I'm going to make a whole video about how good Los Ratones will be in the league once we know all the rosters. I'm going to make some tier lists and whatnot of all the players, all the teams, and so on. So you have something to look forward to. But yeah, I don't have the whole day, so I should quit yapping. This was my overview of all the LEC roster changes, news, moves, drama, and what else? Everything basically. And yeah, I guess that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.